good morning. How are you all today? We're having a beautiful day here where I am. Good morning, and how are you all doing today? We're having a beautiful day here in Cape Town, and it's one of those beautiful, rare sort of spring days where things are just actually the right temperature. The wind is calm. We had a raging wind yesterday, and it's just gorgeous. But with Christmas approaching and many people having birthdays and things at this time of the year, I would like to just show you a quick way to make a few little gifts that you could use as stocking fillers. I also put these little felt decorations onto bookmarks and write a verse of encouragement on there for friends. So they're just a fun way to use up scraps of felt to be able to make a little gift. So you're going to need to cut your felt into assorted different circles. Now, I'm not pedantic about this. I will use what I've got, and then I just find a glass or a lid of something and trace around it. It doesn't have to be terribly accurate, but if you are wanting to neaten up the felt, the one thing to do is to actually cut down straight with your little pair of scissors so that you're getting rid of the edges. So my suggestion, because felt does move a little bit, is just to cut a circle out roughly and then just to gently go at a straight angle and nip around the edges, and that normally does the trick. Then you can decide how you're going to lay yours up. So I'm going to take 3 little circles and I'm going to put them together as an arrangement like that, and I'm going to use a button to center it. It's always nice to have something as a focal point for when you're doing this. So I've got a double strand of just normal sewing cotton, and it would help if I have a knot. So I'm just going to do a quilter's knot, which is this, wrapping the thread around and then pulling it through to the end so that I get a nice strong knot. So that is a quilter's knot. And I'm just going to secure this with about 3 stitches in the holes. So this one button has got 4 little holes, so I'm going to do, that's the first slot going around. And then this is the second lot of stitching. It doesn't have to be terribly strong because you're going to make this into a pin or a brooch, and it will be nice and sturdy as is. Okay, I think 2 is sufficient. You could use a contrasting color thread if you wanted to as well. Then you need to have a little safety pin to be able to do it. Now, one thing to do is just to open the safety pin before you stitch it on to make sure that you're not doing the stitching on this edge, which would mean that when you open the pin, the whole thing would just slide off. Then you're going to lie your safety pin down on your felt and take the needle through the felt and under the safety pin, and then take your needle through the loop that the cotton makes. This is known as buttonhole stitch, and it leaves you with a very nice little edge. So I'm just taking it through, and then I'm putting my needle through that loop and gently pulling it. Just make sure that your threads don't get tangled at this stage, especially if you're working with a larger thread, or a longer thread, should I say. And you want to work all the way to the edge of the little safety pin, just like so. And then you'll see at the end of the safety pin there's this little circle where the metal has been rounded. And I like to do a stitch in that because if I don't do that, I find that this little pin can slide backwards and forwards, and then the position of the pin on your garment or your hat or your bag won't be great. And then I take my needle and push it through those stitches that are on the safety pin itself, and that gives a secure stitch. So you can see it's just a very nice, neat little row of stitches. And then I'm going to just snip that off. How quick and easy is that? So that's the basic shape of what you're doing. And then you could carry on, and you could take a bag of beads like this, and you could start to do some little embellishments. I've just used embroidery cotton, 2 strands, and put a few little beads on, and you'll see that that is very neat on the back. Or you could use a fancy button in the center to create a different kind of look. You could just do some regular stitching. These are just little running stitches around the outside edge, and because this is just a little handmade item, it doesn't matter if it's slightly irregular because it adds part of the charm. Here's a different kind of button with a little bit of embroidery stitching around the edge. That's just a cross stitch really. Here are a few more with different kinds of buttons, and they all have their own little personalities. You could, if you wanted to, use pinking shears to cut the edges of those. There's just a very simple little one. We used to do this at church for Mother's Day quite often, and it was really a very well received gift. So I'm just going to move all the ones that I made, because I made quite a lot. And I make them all up so that they've got the basics, the button and the felt and the pin at the back. And then in my leisure time, I just sit and do a little bit of stitching on them. I add a few little embellishments, whatever the case may be. So you can see how beautiful all the different colors are. Different pinks working together with a different fancy button, or you could just take something small like that, a little textured button like that. They're all just gorgeous, and they make wonderful gifts. And I can't tell you, sometimes I even just put one or two in my bag, and if I'm at the supermarket and somebody's been kind or just been friendly, which is quite nice these days, sometimes the cashiers can be quite rude, then I just give them one just to say thank you, that I appreciate them and I appreciate the work that they're doing, but most especially I appreciate their service. So I hope this has given you a little bit of inspiration to get out to your winter kit of activities, get ready to start making some small little gifts, and that you will have as much fun making them as I have. Bye for now.